Plastic Commander. Did you hear the good news? Oh, hey me. And no, I didn't hear any good news. Did Henry Kissinger finally die? Not only that, but did you know 1/3 of all toy sales were made by adults who collect toys? That's right, which means you're not an outcast anymore, which means you might actually have a chance of getting a girlfriend. Hey everybody, I'm gonna get laid. You know what? I've been collecting plastic toy Army men for a very long time now, over half a decade officially, and I've met tons and tons of people who want to talk to me about toy Army men, not just over the comment section on this YouTube channel or even on Reddit, but at flea markets, garage sales, thrift stores. I've met tons of people who grew up with these plastic little toy Army men, and one really interesting fact about them is that they range anywhere between 6 years old to 60 years old. I have talked to all age brackets about plastic toy figures. In fact, the toy soldier is a concept as old as toys themselves. Toy Army men may be new, but kids were playing with soldiers made of tin and lead and even clay if you go all the way back to ancient Egypt. So toy soldiers have been around a while, and toy Army men have also been around a while. Normally, it goes something like this. They usually tell me about a set they had when they grew up, and sometimes, depending on how old they are, I usually happily tell them, oh, that set's worth a lot of money now, to which they usually tell me, oh, it got sold at a garage sale for 50 cents, to which I'm normally like, that's a bummer. But it's really interesting meeting all of these different age demographics, and they normally go something like this. If you talk to people who are my age, they'll tell you about all the Timmy clones and the true hero figures from back in the 2000s. Maybe go back another decade into the 90s and you'll meet the kids who caught the tail end of the real Timmy Toys era. Another decade, in the 80s, you'll meet plenty of people who had Guts by Mattel, as well as figures by Airfix along with their clones, and also Timmy figures. Another couple of decades, you'll meet the geezers who had some of the later toys by Glencoe Marks and MPC, with Timmy figures as well. And if you go even farther back into the 1950s, you'll find kids playing with mostly Lido and Ajax figures. And also Timmy Army men. Okay, look, Timmy has been around for a while. And all of these different groups of people always tell me the exact same thing. My generation was the last generation to play with plastic toy Army men, and that simply is not the case. Kids these days are still playing with plastic toy Army men, just like how kids, whenever you were growing up, had plastic toy Army men. Maybe there's not as many, maybe there are more kids who want to be invested in video games, or TikTok, or Coco Melon. But nonetheless, there's still plenty of kids playing with plastic toy figures. So today, I thought it would be fun to take a look at one of the most recent sets of Toy Army men, a set that you can get right now, and also take a look at what perhaps is the oldest set of plastic Toy Army men in existence. And I have it. It's mine. You can't have it. Don't try to take it from me. Please. I don't have much left in this world. I won't go on and on about Sunny Days Entertainment. If you want to know more about them, take a look at my recent April Fool's video. But to summarize, they're a newer toy company that was established in the early 2010s who are now one of the top Army men makers today. And this particular set can be found in Walmart, Five Below, and several other big retail chains across the country. This bucket is just called Military, Short, sweet, and to the point. And it comes with a whopping 41 pieces for an average price of $5. One of the first things about this set when you open it up is there's a weird piece of plastic that I think is supposed to be a mountain. To be honest, it's really just in there to make the bucket appear more full than it actually is. Despite this little bucket is jam-packed with tons of play features. The star of the show is, of course, the Sunny Days Modern Soldiers. They remind me a lot of the True Heroes Timmy clones from the 2000s. We get an officer with a handgun, a standing rifleman, and his prone buddy, never have enough of them. A bazooka trooper with a very modern javelin rocket, mortarman, guy holding a grenade, a crouched light machine gunner, a trooper crawling around like I do when I lose my glasses on the living room carpet, and of course, a radio operator. Interestingly, I think this is one of the very few standing radio operators I've seen other than the Matchbox officer. We also get a slew of terrain pieces in this tiny bucket. Walls, sandbags, and of course our barbed wire fences are included. I'm actually a little jealous of the walls. I never found any sets that had these growing up. We never had walls whenever I was a kid. We also get a couple of dirt piles. Connected to them are a British flag and an American flag? I'm not sure what the implications are here. I'm guessing since these are made in China, they're trying to brainwash the children of NATO countries to turn against each other. There's also a tiny tent, which I don't much care for, would have definitely rather had another sandbag or even another soldier. Lastly, this set comes with a variety of planes and jets. Really, I only like the cargo plane here. All of these are really small and puny. I really think we could have lived without them in the long run. There was a loud roar outside, and I'm gonna act like that was a vehicular vehicle, because if it was some animal of some sort, I'm gonna die soon. But anyway, I'm a really big fan of this set. I think it's a really decent set, especially for $5. I don't think it's bad at all. My real only complaints are some of the accessories are pitifully small. I didn't bring it up, but these sandbags are really, really tiny. I'm not much of a fan of them. But other than that, I think for $5, it's serviceable. And I also am glad that kids these days are getting some decent quality plastic toy Army men. Really, the only reason you should buy this set is for the Army men and this wall piece right here. I actually love this wall piece. It's probably my favorite thing in this whole set, to be honest. But anyway, I'm a pretty decent fan of what the kids have going on these days. So, just me. Welcome, one and all, to an old school plastic Commander show and tell. I wasn't really going to do a voiceover for this one. I felt like it would be a little bit more appropriate if I just show you guys by putting just myself in front and just talking about these for a little bit the old school way. So, this is a very special episode, at least for me, and it should be for y'all as well, because this is the 1938 Bergen Novelty & Co. Toy Soldiers. So, now this one specifically is in the set in front of me now. Was it made in 1938? This one is from the early 40s, so, but they produced this set for years and years, and this is one of the runs of the line that they had. So, I'll just show y'all real quick. These two pieces of cardboard are flaps. I'm pretty sure they go, honest to God, I'm not sure how they go. In fact, that looks kind of correct. If that one goes there and that one there, maybe, I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. So, very, very cool. So first, we'll just look at the box. So the way most Army Men sets were sold back in the day, for one, most toy soldiers were painted. You got not very many, and they were usually painted by hand. These are hand painted, and the paint is really, really good. It held up very well throughout the last, oh god, 70 odd years that these were made. Honestly, like 80. So on the front, durable, non-breakable, Bergen Novelty & Co. Incorporated. So very cool. And we'll look at the bottom. Nothing special, nothing on there. And we see all of our figures all standing up, still kind of in place, but not very. But that's good for us because that'll let us pull these out. And on the side, we have some Native Americans. It says washable right here, which I don't really buy that. I wouldn't put these in the sink or nothing, especially considering the paint. So that's a really interesting point, washable. So, and the Native American, that's because they made tons of Wild West stuff as well. Wild West was super duper popular way back in the day. That was one of the really popular genres. But on the back, we get this really interesting artwork. So let's take a look at this. Let's analyze it. So firstly, it says Benton on this little train station. So Benton, that's part of the name Bergen Novelty. Sometimes it's called Benton Bergen Novelty because I think that's the town that the company was based out of. So a safe toy for children, non-flammable. And what's really interesting about that is that Bergen started making these before the lead scare. So for those of you who aren't toy aficionados like myself, the lead scare happened in the mid to late 40s. And basically that's when we found out that lead was super duper poisonous. Now, take a guess, most toys way back in the day were made with lead. It was kind of the next best thing to plastic. It was before plastic was super popular. Like the 50s, plastic was like the hot, cool new thing. But yeah, so most toys were made out of lead at the time. And when we found out it was poisonous, parents freaked because, you know, most kids, when they have a toy, they put it in their mouth. And that's why we started getting plastic toy army men. And Benton was ahead of the curve because they started making these figures in 1938, like I've said 3 times now. And that's what was really interesting about them. That's what really set them apart, is that they were doing that for years already. At least they were the first one to start doing that. So we got some cowboys over here on the side. Again, they made tons of cowboys and Indians. On the back, really, really interesting. So we got tons of cowboys, Native Americans. Don't pay any mind to this gentleman. This is from a different era. That's all I'm going to say about that. But I wanted to address the elephant in the room. So looks like we got a soldier right here. The train's coming, and I think they made toy trains and vehicles and stuff. At least it wouldn't surprise me if they did. So that's the box. Really, really cool. And again, it's amazing to find one of these still in this condition. Now, this is worn to heck, I will say that. But again, this is like 80 years old. Like, think about it. Think about toys that you guys might have that you had as a child. Right? I want you to think like maybe up in the attic in your closet, whether it's Lego, whether it's some more Army Men or an action figure, whatever. Think about the condition of that toy. Now, do you still have the packaging for that? You probably do not. And that's the one thing that makes toys super duper valuable when they're still in this condition, when they still have the box, the original packaging, especially this old, because people just didn't keep that stuff. And it's a miracle we kept this. If I had to guess, this was probably like a Christmas gift of a child who died of leukemia, and it was just put away in the closet for years and years and years because the parents could not be forced to look at it every day. At least that's my headcanon. Maybe it's something else, who knows. But anyway, moving on from that somber note, let's start looking at our figures. So, the plastic is super duper high quality. Like, this is some grade A plastic. It almost feels like it's lead. So for those of you uninformed, if you don't know what lead necessarily feels like, it's kind of like glass. It's a very glassy material, and if you knock it around, so like that, you'll get kind of like, it'll sound like 2 marbles bouncing together. But that's how we know this is plastic, because that sound is just slightly different. I don't know if the audio picked that up. So, it looks like we have an officer with a pistol. Just real quick, Lots of Army-Men companies like to make this one guy, officer with a pistol, looking all over the table. I don't have another officer near me right now with a pistol, but I have this one 1950s Timmy figure. So, and at first I thought this guy was an African American. It was a comically racist depiction of an African American from the 30s, but no, he actually is wearing a gas mask. Very, very cool. So this set, to me, it seems like the motif of these figures is that they're all in training, which that was a really popular playset back in the day. Marks had a bunch of playsets that were basically like camps. I'm trying to think of one of them. Yeah, they were like training camps where you they were like boot camps. Sorry, I had a brain fart. But anyway, so let's take a look at this guy. It looks like he has 2 ammo boxes. Again, very nice detailing, especially around the face. We see the mouth, the chin, right above the strap. We got a decent, we got eyes right up there. So again, I'm going to pull another Timmy figure. And if you compare these two, honestly, the Bergen Novelty Co. looks better. And the plastic is way nicer too. This is very quality, very little flashing, just super duper nice. Again, these are also the BMC reproductions, but still, it's the exact same mold. And these were made out of the PVC plastic, that real durable yet kind of flexible plastic that a lot of Army-Men are made out of. There's an Airfix British paratrooper. So that plastic was super popular because it was super cheap, it was really flexible, it was really easy to make molds with. But this plastic's very tough. Like, I feel like if I bit one of these the wrong way, it would definitely snap. But still, it's very sturdy, so it would take some genuine effort to do that. I don't see myself doing that on accident, so I'm going to slip you just back in there we go, and pull out our next figure. So, and these just slide right on out, which is great. So we got this guy here whose rifle is flipped upside down. So it doesn't look like we have any paint there in the center for the rest of the rifle. I'm not sure why that is. And again, on the backs of these, I'm sure you noticed, but there's no paint. Again, don't know why that is. However, I'm fairly certain that these were hand painted back in the day. At least they look like they were. Most toys were hand painted well up into the 50s. Even Marks had artisans who would sit and hand paint figures. In fact, a lot of the figures that you could get from Marks, especially the 6-inch line, you could buy those for a little bit more extra money painted, and they were painted by hand. So that was a really cool fact. And again, just great quality. And we know these are by Bergen because we got the logo at the bottom, that TB, the same TB we saw right there on our bag figures. So I reviewed these in one of my last videos, and these are pretty much the same. In fact, the grenade guy that's in here is the exact same grenade guy. There he is right there. And there he is right there. It's the same mold, just different plastic and in a bag. This was in the 50s when Bergen started chasing the bag trend. So in the 50s, that's when a lot of companies began to switch over to bags. Like Timmy, Marks also started doing bags, although Marks was more focused on playsets as well. And Bergen also wanted to get in on that. So I'll start picking up the pace a little bit, but we got another guy here. Looks like he has his rifle. Looks like he also has a grenade. Very, very cool. The same grenade guy that is in our bag right here. And it's very nice that I have both of these Bergen novelties in my collection because I really have a great appreciation for Bergen. I have a great appreciation for the craftsmanship, not just in Bergen, but old toys in general, if you haven't noticed. So, looks like we have a signaler. So, the back of the flags, no paint. Looks like he has some hair right there. A piece of cat hair just got on him. Oh, well, that won't come off. So, looks like he's practicing with signal flags. So, really, really cool. Really, again, high quality plastic. Very beautiful molds. And now we got a Bugle Boy. So, a lot of these sets that were kind of like oh, this is like a boot camp, would usually have like a bugle boy. And another way you can tell is we got a drummer boy here, and his helmet's silver. So that usually is a sign that they're in boot camp, if you've ever seen Full Metal Jacket. The night watchman has to wear the silver helmet, so. And I'm gonna gently slide you out. There we go. So we got our little drummer boy. And not too much detail on the drum, but still very, very nice. And the face, again, these faces look pretty good. They aren't amazing, but still, they're pretty nice. And again, I love this plastic. I wish more companies today would use this stronger, sturdier plastic. I don't know exactly what type of plastic this is, but it feels great. And the figures also feel great too. They're very chalky boys. And on top of that, their molds are all really nice as well. So we get lots of detail out of them. So, and up next we got our officer on horseback. So, horses were very widely used before the Second World War, and also during the Second World War even. However, horseback was mostly phased out as a means of transportation. By the time Korea came around, we were mostly a mechanized military force. In fact, during World War II, we were also mostly mechanized, especially more than the Germans, which was a big shock to a lot of people. There's a lot of GIs who went overseas to Europe. Because in World War II, and I'm going to go on a bit of a rant, a lot of German propaganda showed tons and tons of like motorized vehicles, but they kind of would shoot those from certain angles to make it look like there were way more than there actually were. So when the US got there during the invasion of Normandy, and they saw how many German units were using horses, they were kind of surprised. So, fun little story, the more you know. So, got our officer right here, and honestly, I'm not a huge fan of this little officer. Skinny Legs McGee, Mr. Steal Your Girl, he's gonna waddle into the saloon and get a drink. Very interesting mold, but again, this was literally designed in the 30s. I'm not gonna, crap on it too much. But the horse, however, is pretty nice. So the inside's hollow here, and I think that says something down in there. Yes, it says Bergen Toy Novelty Co. USA. You're not going to be able to see that, but trust me, I'm not lying to you. I'm not gaslighting you guys, I promise. So, and again, it's made out of black plastic. This isn't paint. And it looks like we got the little logo kind of right there. So, I'm going to pop you back on. He does fit pretty well, even after all these years. So, I'll put you back. And that is the Bergen novelty figures. So, again, this is it. This is the first real set of army men that were mass-produced. At least that we know of. But, however, there really wasn't anyone else. I'm going to put these little cardboard pieces just back in there. So, I love this set. Especially for the time, it was a really nice set. Now, who do I think wins this battle out of these? I'm gonna honestly say this one right here. You get way more stuff, and it's a little, I'm gonna say, less lame than these guys. Like, we don't even have a guy who's firing a weapon here. But still, as far as quality, this is way better quality. So, Bergen Novelty & Co., Sunny Days Entertainment. Get them both. Just get them both. If you can find one of these, if you are a toy collector, especially if you do anything with toy soldiers, even if it's like King and Country or TSSD or whatever, pick these up. Yeah, these are great for your collection, and this is a great shelf/conversation piece for my toy room. So, but that's going to conclude it for this video. I'm not going to do an outro, because this video is I know it's going to be a little long. But anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Bye.